I am sitting here in my little Knicks Shrine home office that I hastily put together when my wife was like, "You should have a podcast studio in the house because you do this a lot and it's fun." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I deserve it." But really deep down, I think what I really meant was, I don't know if the Knicks deserve it. You know, they have given us just so little over the last 20 years. And now I could sit here, and it is 4 games into this season, and I could say in full sincerity that I get to root for a 500 team. And you know what? In other cities in the basketball landscape, in the National Basketball Association, that might not mean much, but here in the Macri household in the city of New York, it means a hell of a lot. We have a great episode for you today. We got Out of Sight, a platinum recording artist, as well as Emmy-winning actor David Futternick. We did a 3-man weave pod that we recorded yesterday, actually on Monday. So I know this episode's coming at you on Wednesday. That was recorded on Monday. I'm talking to you after the Knicks just beat the Cavs on Tuesday night. It's funny. We recorded the episode, and as you'll hear, I'm not gonna give it away, but as you'll hear in a few minutes, the theme of the episode was basically like, we don't have a good basketball team, certainly, but we have a real basketball team now. It's a bad basketball team, but we have a real basketball team now that comes and looks like they are what they purport to be, which is a group of professionals getting paid to go out and play a certain, with a certain modicum of poise and precision and execution and intent. And even if it doesn't always work out, we recorded it and we were like, okay, 3 games in, we're good. And at the end, I was like, man, if they come out there and they lay an absolute egg against the Cavs, we are going to look like a bunch of assholes because it'll be the same old shit. And it's only been 1 more game since I said that, but it's just interesting to me because the Knicks just played a game in which, on the surface, I'm pulling up the box score stats right now. On the surface, like, they didn't deserve to win that game. They tried to give that game away 10 ways from Sunday, right? They had, I'm gonna try to guess because I don't have the box score up yet. I'm gonna guess they had 28 turnovers. That's my guess. Let's see how close I got. The Knicks turned the ball over 24 times. Okay, so not quite as bad as I thought it was. 24 times. That's still a lot. The Knicks went from the free throw line. The Knicks went 13 for 21 and missed 8 free throws. They were sloppy. They didn't execute, especially down the stretch a couple times where they had a couple backcourt violations. You can't have backcourt violations and expect to win on the road against anybody, let alone, a team that was 3-0 before this game. And yet they won the game because they just brought what you need to bring on the road to win an NBA game. And that is 48 minutes of sound defense in which they held the Cavs to 85 points. And on offense, again, I know 24 turnovers, not great. But they have a scheme and they stick to it. And the scheme involves players moving without the ball. And most importantly, and Clyde and Mike Breen talked about it throughout the entire broadcast. And anybody who's watched the season knows this. Moving the ball with a purpose. And it's not hot potato. It's guys are moving. The ball is moving. You're trying to find holes. And they actually, they missed. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the game because it seems like they missed an awful lot of shots at the rim. And I know Andre Drummond, I think he ended up with 6 blocks on the game. But 6 blocks and 3 steals. They challenged him. And is there wisdom in challenging a guy who is going to win those battles more often than not? Well, you could question that, but give it to the Knicks for coming in and being like, we are going to pound the rock at the rim and we are going to shoot threes. And guess what? For as much as they were denied at the rim for a lot of the game tonight, the fact that they were 14 of 25 from 3, again, you're not going to shoot 14 of 25 from 3 very often, but the Cavs, those were all open shots. They weren't making contested threes. Those were open threes, and they were open threes that, let's go through. So 9 of those threes were from Reggie Bullock, who's a guy that you want shooting 3-pointers. RJ Barrett missed all 3 of his. Kevin Knox made both of his, 2 for 2. Frank Ntilikina, 1 for 3. And then in the unsustainable department, Elfrid Payton, 2 for 4. Julius Randle, 4 for 4. So did they get a little lucky from behind the arc? Yeah, sure. But on the same, what's the phrase? By the same token, they're not usually going to turn the ball over 24 times. So I feel like this wasn't a cheap win. I feel like this was a very real win, and they won by 10 points on the road, again, against a team that was undefeated. I have gone on for I don't know how many minutes, and I have not mentioned Julius Randle specifically. I just 44 minutes, 28 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. He got a steal, did turn the ball over 9 times. But again, I said it in my post-game Periscope. If the worst thing Julius Randle is doing is overpassing, you sign for that every day of the week. And was there were a couple reversions to form from Randle throughout this evening, but I think by and large, what you got from him is exactly what you want to get from him. And to that point, let me just read the tweet that I just retweeted from JB. How JB got this so fast, I don't know. JB is the man. Shout out to JB. Here is the list of players since 1990 who have had triple doubles where they had at least 28 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kobe Bryant, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Kevin Garnett, Draymond Green, James Harden, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Jason Kidd, Lamar Odom, once a Nick, always a Nick, Ben Simmons, Jerry Stackhouse, once led the league in scoring, Jerry Stackhouse, Antoine Walker, Chris Webber, and of course, Russell Westbrook. And Julius Randle now adds his name to that list. Is he the guy who is perfectly suited running an offense, a starting unit offense? No. He's best off probably running a second unit for a really good team and coming in and playing some third banana roll with the starters. But man, what he's doing right now for this team, I mean, there's no other way to say it. If he keeps this up and the Knicks are within shouting distance of a 500 record when they vote for the All-Star game, Julius Randle is going to be an NBA All-Star. I mean, that's not even a question. The question is whether he can keep it up. And to be honest with you, there's nothing. So the 3-point shooting is unsustainable. I think he's he's definitely shooting over 50% from 3. I think he's shooting 75% from 3, maybe even higher. That's going to taper off. Okay, fine. He doesn't need to average 20. I think he's averaging 24 point something right now, maybe 25 after 4 games. He doesn't need to average that many points to make an All-Star game. He could average an even 20. But if he's averaging 20 and 10 and 5 for a team that's around 500 and he is their usage leader and he's playing a ton of minutes, that's an NBA All-Star. So shout out to Julius Randle. He took all of the slings and barbs and arrows and he just he was fine and he came back and he's better. The two other guys that were, and by the way, this was talk about a Tom Thibodeau minutes distribution. Julius Randle, 44 minutes, Bullock, 41, Barrett, 39, Peyton, 36, Mitchell Robinson, 32, with the three reserves. Did not go to a 9-man rotation. Alec Burks out, no problem. Obi Toppin out, no problem. Manuel Quickly out, no problem. I'm going to play Knox, Noel, Ntilikina, 16 minutes each. They came in, they contributed, and he played his starters a ton. And listen, if you're Tibbs and if he's doing this every game consistently, is that a problem? Yes, it's a problem. He is trying to establish a culture. And I will go back to what I said at the beginning. To me, this is a Tom Thibodeau win. This is a Tom Thibodeau win all the way. Guys didn't give in. Guys didn't give up. He keeps saying it. The magic is in the work. And I don't know what magic, I don't know what work is going on behind the scenes, but for this team to be 2-2, and having they have not yet had a quarter where they have been embarrassed, and they have played three legitimately good teams and one team that was just 3-0, which maybe isn't a good team, but and they have yet to have a quarter where you're like, it's the same old Knicks. It's the same bullshit. And they just, again, they're not going to stay a 500 team. They're probably not going to be close to a 500 team, but whatever Tibbs is doing behind the scenes is working. And it makes me want to see more of this team play. I don't have to sit down in front of the television at night and be like, oh my God, what am I going to have to write about tomorrow? How am I going to have to find up with different ways to say and contextualize and analyze this team sucks? I don't have to do that anymore. They're not good. They're not good. Let's be clear about that. They're not good, but they're respectable and they respect themselves as a team. And that's all Tibbs. And guys, I think there's still clearly a ceiling they haven't reached yet. Peyton came back down to earth tonight, turned the ball over a ton, was only 6 for 15 from the field. Mitchell Robinson, they still haven't figured out, teams are now playing for the lob. Obviously, it was the staple of their offense last year. Closest thing they had to a staple. The lob opened up a little bit for him in this game, but it's still not really there. He was only 4 for 9 from the field, got blocked a few times. RJ Barrett, 4 for 15. The shooting is still not coming around. He still can't make a three. He was 0 for 3 from downtown. I think he's going to be better. And there's the injured guys, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly. Those guys should help more than they hurt. Alec Burks wasn't there tonight. So, they're 2-2. We need to see more. Got to see the other guys get on the court. Austin Rivers hasn't even played. There are going to be some dicey rotation questions in store moving forward, but we could sit here now a week into the season and at least, we joke about it on this podcast that you're about to hear. Yes, I'm Mr. Kool-Aid. I chug it when it's there for me. If you put it in front of my face, I'm going to drink it. It doesn't feel silly to drink the Kool-Aid right now. It feels like we could drink the Kool-Aid and at least feel like we're not embarrassing ourselves by doing so. And that's all I want. And I have a feeling if you're listening to this podcast, at least that's all you want. And then after we get past this season and we could look back and be like, okay, that was a respectable 72 games. Then we could have a different conversation about what's next. But for right now, I'm cool with what's going on. And I hope you are too, because there's some good stuff.